Hi everyone, my name is Brian and I'm the 3D print creator, and in this episode I'm going to show you how I make a transducer for hearing my two-way radio when playing airsoft out on the fields. Now, as you might know, I'm an airsoft player, and this means that I'm shooting with small BBs on other people and they're shooting at me, and it's kind of like playing paintball, but now with a smaller type of bullet and hurting each other, well, a little bit more. The thing is that it's actually a very fun game. It's tactical, it's a simulation, and it's no real war. I'm against real wars, I'm against real firearms, but I do like to play this kind of games. And now, for these games we use two-way radios. The way we use them is we can talk to the other members of our team and tell them where the enemies are, and they can tell me where the enemies are, so we can hunt them together. The thing is that when you're using two-way radios and you have this type of earpieces on your ears, then your 3D awareness, the awareness of other people around you, is getting a little bit mixed up, because you don't hear that good on the ear where you have this thing. So what I want is I want to have my ears completely free, but still I want to hear my two-way radio. So a way to do this is make sure that the noises are transferred to my ear, but not by the openings of my ears. So I'm going to use another method for this. And the thing I am going to use is I'm going to use the vibrations on my skull. And well, I'll show you how I do this. I take this headset, which has an earpiece, and I cut off the earpiece. Now, in almost every 3D printer, and also in some 3D printers that I don't use anymore, you can find piezo peepers or beepers. Those piezos are elements that just vibrate when there is noise to them. But when you connect them to these wires of your earpiece, then they're gonna vibrate, and you can hear actually the voices of people who are talking to you. So what I did, I took this little transducer, which is a piezo element with two wires on it, and I soldered those wires on a headset. I cut off the earpiece and I soldered this on. And now I'm going to create something in which I can mount it, so I can mount it directly on my goggles and have it here. Not against my ear, but here. So then the vibrations will be transduced through the bone, and I'll make a bone conductor. And that way I hope I'm able to hear my two-way radio while still also hearing my surroundings. So let's take a look how I do this. So I'm into Fusion 360 at this moment, and now I'm going to draw the model I just measured. And well, at first I'm going to create a new component, and I'm going to give it a name, and the name will be earpiece, because it's an earpiece I'm going to make. Now, of course, I want to make a rectangular sketch first. I choose the center rectangle and I'll choose it on the ground plane. And this one will be 22.5 millimeters times 35 millimeters, because that's what I'm using as a starting point. Line from here. This is not going as I want to. There's also a soccer game going on, and my wife is listening to that soccer game. I think you can hear that as well. That's no problem, of course, for this video recording, but then you know what you're hearing. It's the World Cup soccer, and my wife likes that. I want to sketch dimensions from there to there, and they have to be 22.5 divided by 2. And there it is. Now I want to draw a center circle from here, and I want to draw it to the corner. I just want to make sure it's a normal circle, so I'm choosing this one, make it a normal circle. And now I'm going to use the trim tool to trim away the things I don't need, because the basic shape I need will be this shape. And I made a mistake, of course, sorry. Trim tool, I have to shape this one. So now here we have this part here. Now in Sketch there is a function called offset, and I'm going to use that offset on this part. And I'm going to use it as an offset from this what I've drawn, because this is my inside. This is the real part of the transducer I'm using as a speaker. So I will be 2 millimeters away from this part. And now I'm able to make something out of this. It has to be 7.5 millimeters high, and I'm not going to calculate. Of course, it's very easy to calculate this type of values, but why should I calculate? Well, the function is already there. So I want it to be 7.5 millimeters high, but I'm going to add 2 millimeters to it, and I'm going to do it this way: 7.5 plus 2. The reason I'm doing this is because I know already that I'm also going to bring this up 2 millimeters, and I want to be able to slide in the part that I'm going to make. So this is a very handsome and easy way to do it. Now I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to break this one away. Oh, there's something going wrong. Extrude this part. And I want to go all but the other way around. So I'm going to cut it away the other way around. And I say all because I don't want anything to be here. Now another way I could do it is not say all, but say to object. Now when you're doing to object, now you can, well, I stepped out of it, extrude, boom, and say to object, and you can click this part, and now you cut it exactly there where you need it. So this is what I'm going to do. Now this is the opening I can slide in my earpiece that I'm going to make. Now of course we all know that it's going to be on my shooting glasses, which I happen to have here. So these are my shooting glasses, and we have to measure the size of the band here, and that size will be, let's take a look, it will be 26.927. So we have to make an opening here of 27 millimeters to slide it inside this band. And well, that has to be 27 millimeters in thickness. Now because we already have this part here, which is way too much, we can create it here. So what we're going to do is we're going to extrude this bottom part. Select also the other side, and we're going to extrude this for now 10 millimeters. Sorry, minus 10 millimeters. We want to extrude some extra material. And now we have this, we can actually go and set a rectangle here. Which has to be a 2-point rectangle on this part, and now we can just sketch a rectangle like this, but we're going to give dimensions to it. Am I doing it right? Yes, I'm doing it right. We can set dimensions to it, so we're going to do this, and we want 2 millimeters here. We also want from here to here. We want 7.5. Oh, 7.5 plus 2. This is going to give us the 7.5 millimeters we had here, plus 2 extra millimeters, which we are going to need here. Now we're also going to create a dimension size here, which has to be at least 2 millimeters. And we are going to set dimensions from here to here. And well, I'll make them a little bit bigger. They have to be 27 millimeters. And I want to give it a little bit of play, so 27.5. Now, we have got this rectangle now, so now we can go and extrude it like this. And again, we're going to object, and that will be this side. So when we've done so, this is where our headband is going through. Now, of course, this is way too thick. This is too much, and we don't need it this size. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to again take my calipers, put on my glasses, and I'm going to measure the size of 2 bends on top of each other, because that's what we have here. And that will be like 5 millimeters. So we just need 5 millimeters of play here. Now we are in this part already, and I think I made a stupid mistake. So let's go back here. Let's go back to where I set the dimensions, which was over here. Sorry, which was over here. Here we got all the dimensions. I'm going to turn on the sketches and everything. And this line here was combined with this one here. But I don't want that. So I want to set dimensions from this to this. And it's not going to let me. Now, when I double click it, it is going to let me. So you saw that when I double clicked here, that now it gives me the option to set the dimensions again. And we'll have to take a look where I set this dimension over here, and that was on this part. So we'll have to kill this one. This one will have to be killed. And I think you can do it like this. I just clicked on it and then I deleted it. Now we can set new dimensions by hitting the D, set them from here to here and make them 5 millimeters. Because this is really all we need. So again, we can extrude this one and select to object and go here. Now everything will be cut away and here it is. So as you see, this is the way better way to do it, by setting the correct dimensions. Now I also wanna make this thinner. There is no real need to, but now let's keep it thick, because then it will be stronger. Yeah, let's keep it actually thick. But I do want to give it a fillet, like over here, because I don't like sharp edges, and I want to give it a fillet of 5 millimeters. And also I want to give it a fillet on these edges of about 1 millimeter, which is going to be all the way to the bottom now, as you can see here. So it will be a fillet which is all the way. And this is exactly what I like, because I don't want the sharp edges to be on my ears. So I hit enter, and now we have got this nice and correct, just the way we want it. And still we can print it, because this is the part that's going to hit the printing plate. Now the only thing we have to do is create a top on it, for which we will go and project this over here. And now we have to, I don't know, this is not going to work out the way I wanted it. Help. I want to don't show the body at this moment, and I want this and this 2 millimeters thick, create it into a new body. Yes. Now it gives me an error, because I'm not seeing the bodies. Nevertheless, I think it's there. So when yep, it's here. So now I can move this body, select it, move it away, show the other body, move it back in and close the gap, like this. And now the thing is, it's not completely closed, because I need to add those 5 millimeters. Sorry, I need to add those 5 millimeters the other way around. There it is. And now I can combine these two, and they will be one solid piece, with one exception. I have those fillets, I have missed them. So I have to redo these fillets, which were 1 millimeter, and now it will be completely okay. So here I made a holder that I can put on my band. I can shovel in the earpiece that I have, I can shove it in, and I can mount it on my goggles, my protective goggles. So yeah, this is basically it. Now the only thing I need is on the center of this piece, I need some holes, because I want to hear what's happening. So again, I have to make some holes, and they have to be on the center of that circle that I made, which is this point over here. So I'm going to draw a center circle on this point, which is, well, make it 5 millimeters in size, and I'm going to extrude that center circle. But first we have to make sure to see the bodies. And we've lost the bodies. So here the bodies are. I have to draw a center circle. It has to be on this part over here, 5mm hole. Stop sketch, and here it is. And now I can extrude to here, and there we have it. So this is a way we can create those holes in. Now my wife got me an ice cream, and it's very difficult to eat an ice cream while doing a stream. So I'm going to give it back to her. No! Because I'm not able to eat it at this moment. Although I love her very much that she gave it to me. I'm going to add some more of those holes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a new circle. It's going to be a not a rectangle, a circle. 2-point circle. I'm going to draw it on this line, like 2mm in size. There it is. And now I'm going to create a circular pattern with as an object I'm choosing this one. As a center point I'm choosing this point, and the quantity, well, I want to have a lot of them, so the quantity will be 8. And now we got a whole lot of circles here, which we can all happily extrude like this. So now when I turn off the sketches, you will see my earpiece, which I can put on my goggles and use the way I want it to. Now I'm going to do another fillet, because also against my head I would like to have a little bit of a round fillet here. 1mm, it's more than enough. And here we'll have it. So this will be strong enough and it will hold. And I think this will be okay. Now let's go out and print this. I'll choose the complete thing. I want to save it as an STL. High refinement, yes. And now I guess I'm able to select a name. It's going to be in my 3D printing folder. Earpiece. And we're going to use the same name here. Earpiece. Let's go and print this thing. Now here we have the thing in Simplified 3D. I'm still using Simplified 3D, although I heard from a lot of people that Cura is at the moment a better engine. But I'm very much used to Simplified 3D and I haven't run into problems yet, so I'm going to still use this. Here I have the piece. It's already on my build plate, and I'm going to select the profile for the Anycubic i3 Mega printer here, because the Anycubic i3 Mega is my printer of choice. It's a very good printer for printing NGEN material, and I love NGEN because it's very sturdy, it's very strong, and I need something to be very sturdy and strong if I'm going to use it for airsoft gaming. And this piece won't be thick, it will only have walls of 2 millimeters in size, so yeah, I have to make it very sturdy and thick. Now I'm going to use, it says here PLA, but it's going to be the NGEN setting. I am using the retraction distance of 5.5 millimeters with a retraction speed of 80 millimeters a second. Going into the layers, a 0.2 layer for NGEN works fine. It gives a very decent, very nice print. I'm going to use 4 top layers. No, I'm actually going to make that. Yeah, I leave this 4. I'm going to make it 5 solid bottom layers. The reason I'm going to do this is because it's only 2 millimeters thick. With 5 layers I've got 1 millimeter, then it's going to print also 5 top layers, so it will be solid. So I'm going for 5 solid top layers, 5 solid bottom layers, and I'm also going to use 5 outline perimeters. I want it to be very, very solid. That's the reason I'm doing this. Now, as the additions here, I will use a skirt which will have to be from the part, 4 millimeters from the part, but I want it there because I want to make sure that there is filament oozing out, and well, only one outline is more than enough on this printer, because I know for sure that filament will be oozing out after one outline. Now I'm going to the infill. The infill will be set to 33%. If you want to have something which is extremely strong, then still you can use a non-solid model. So for the walls on the sides, it will now use a very small infill pattern. It will be very, very little, but it will also give it the option to bend a little. Therefore I'm choosing 33% as the infill, and I will use a full honeycomb infill pattern. Now I am very happy with this setting. I don't need support. The temperature for the hot end needs to be 85 degrees. Yes, it's NGEN material and you need to print it very, very hot. The primary extruder will be 245 degrees Celsius, which is a great temperature for this filament. I've already checked. There will be a little bit of cooling, but it will only be 25%. You don't need to cool NGEN that much. So 25% will be the cooling. As for layer 2, for the first layer I won't use any cooling. For the second layer I will start with a little bit of cooling. Now in the G-code I don't going to change things. The speed will be only 30 millimeters a second. Why go fast? I've got all night to print this. And then all the other settings, well, I can leave them as they are. I'm going to prepare this thing for the process. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch this step by step, because I want to make sure that this will be printed okay. And as you can see here, the bottom part will be printed okay. Here there will be a little bit of infill, the orange part. Then here we will have the holes, as you can see over here. And the larger hole, the smaller holes. Here you can see we are going to print the bridge, little bit of bridging, and then we will start printing on top of it, little bit of infill, and then we are closing the gap all the way to the top. Now I think this will be a very successful, very easy print to do on my Anycubic i3 Mega, so let's start the print. Now here you can see how it's printing, and I think it's printing beautifully, and it's NGEN filament, really, it's so strong and so magnificent. I really love it. And after the print came out, I saw I had made a little mistake. I didn't have an opening and I couldn't get this band off my goggles. So I needed a way to install this on the band, and therefore I had to make a little opening in it. And well, I just used a saw to make this opening so I could get this rubber band in between it. Now here you can see the complete print, and here are the openings. This is the other way around, and this is the opening on the bottom in which I have put my piezo element, and then I put some hot glue in it, but I did it on a way that it doesn't touch the piezo element. So well, the wire is coming out on the bottom side and just hot glue in it. This makes it closed, and now the piezo won't fall off. Now when I place this on my head like this, it protects my eyes, because that's what my goggles are for. But here I've got this thing on my head, and this is where the piezo is placed. So it's conducting against my skull. As you can see here, my ear is completely free, and the bone conductor conducts against my skull, which is a great thing, because now I can have my complete situational awareness. I can hear everything around me, and still I can hear my radio, because that's well, transferred to the bones of my skull, and therefore I can hear it inside my ear as if there was a speaker on my ear, which is not. So I really think this is a great project. I just used an old piezo element that came out of a printer that I had laying around and never used because it was broken. And now with this part I can use it for my airsoft gameplay, which I think is really awesome. This was a simple project. I hope you can do a same thing as I did for yourself. I showed you how I did it, and well, if you like this kind of content, then please give it a like. Also subscribe to my channel. And if you hit that subscribe button, then there is also this little bell button. Don't forget to hit that bell as well, otherwise you won't be notified every time I make a new video. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.